Hello, my name's Trish, and those that know me will know that I like nothing better than buying a new sewing machine. So today I've got the Janome M200QDC. Now in this range there are three in total. The M50 having 50 stitches, the M100QDC and the M200QDC. Now each of those at the moment until the end of the year have got a bonus foot set. So within this will include the 1/4 inch patchwork foot, the free motion foot and the walking foot, along with some others. I think there's a quilt in the ditch foot as well. But I thought I'd show you just how excited I can get when I'm opening the box to a new machine. So I'm just going to open up the top here and all will be revealed. So the first thing I can see is the instruction manual with the guarantee and a few other bits and pieces, a little bit of information. I can see here the quilting attachment, the stitch in the ditch, the craft foot, and apparently a little pin cushion that sits on the top here. Wonderful. So let's take off the polystyrene, pop that out of the way, and then just work all of this. Take off. Fantastic. Another thing I love to see, a lovely hard cover with the polystyrene inside. Quite often these days it's just a plastic cover, but no, we have a solid cover for when you're carrying it, taking it to a workshop or storing it in your craft room or on your dining room table. So a nice handle, and you can see not too heavy, but I can feel it's heavy enough. Aha, a super extension cable. Larger than some. Obviously there are some enormous ones on the market, but that is a good size when attached to the machine. Let's pop that down. I've got my cord. There is our plug to get it working. Here's a little pin cushion. Now I haven't seen one of these before, but it looks as though that's quite cute, isn't it? So that's going to sit on the spare spools that we're going to pop in the front of the machine here. I haven't had a machine with something like that. And then, our bag of feet. I'll show those in just a moment. So let's see, pop that out of the way. So here's our foot pedal, safely tucked away in the throat of the machine. Let's just take that out. Oh yes, just our standard foot pedal. Take the polystyrene out and away. Let's pop that back. No, let's pop that back here so we can see better, that's right. So I'm just going to draw up a chair so that I can show you a lot more easily. So at the side here we have our on-off switch, we have the point for where we're going to plug in our foot pedal, and we also have then the point where we're going to plug the cord for the electrics. On the top we have our bobbin winder as usual, along with markings to show just how you wind your bobbin. Always good to have it there in case you forget. We've got the end cap on here. I'm sure there'll be some extras in our little packet as well. And again, on the front of the machine, we've got all the markings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down behind the top of the needle and through the needle there. So the basics of this machine, let's see. We've got speed control, so we can have it slow, we can have it on medium, any way up to maximum speed. And the added extra on this is the first one I come along to, is your thread cutter. So instead of having to pick your scissors up, you can now press the button and it will automatically cut your threads. How good is that? You've got your needle up-down button, so if you like your needle to be in the fabric when you stop stitching so that you can turn the fabric around and not lose your position in the fabric, this button is a must-have. You've then got your tying off stitch as well, so when you come to the end, rather than reversing, you can just press the button to tie off the threads. Just down here we have the reverse, so we can go backwards and forwards at the start or the end of our stitching. And then the start-stop. Some machines have this. This does, what it does means that you can take off your foot pedal and you can stitch without having to use your feet on a foot pedal. So you just use that button to start stitching and stop stitching. This is where the speed control comes in wonderfully, because you may not want to go at full speed, especially to start off with if you haven't been used to stitching without a foot pedal. So you can start off at medium speed, or at the slowest in fact, and then move it up until you're comfortable with that machine sewing without your foot on the pedal. Great for when you're doing free motion, quilting, stitching, because it's one extra thing you don't have to think about. All you need to think about then with the free motion is moving your fabric on a consistent speed underneath your needle. You don't have to think about your foot going down on the pedal. So we'll lift the presser lever here, take out a little bit of paper there. So we've got our drop-in bobbin. Again, it's got the markings to tell you exactly where you're going to put your bobbin. I always think of it as a letter P with a drop-in, so your thread comes down on the left-hand side, and you've also got, you just follow the channel and the thread comes around here, and there's a little cutter here so that it automatically cuts your thread. We have an accessory tray at the front, and this is where, let's just have a look, just pull that forward. So we've got the buttonhole foot within there at the minute, but that can contain all of your other feet when we have got them out. So I'm just going to show you how the extension table fits on. You just lower those legs like so. You need to have the extension table taken off, and then move these things out of the way. You can just slot that on there. It's flush with the top, and you've got a lovely big area for when you're stitching. So on here we have our screen. We have got, no, I haven't plugged it in so I can't show you particularly, but we've got our up down for the number of the stitch. We have our length and our width buttons as well, so we can alter the length of our straight stitch, or when we're doing a zigzag stitch to make it into a satin stitch, and we can alter the width of it as well. So we have our basic straight stitch, which is the default stitch with the needle in the centre when you switch it on. We've got your zigzag, we've got your overcast and the buttonhole. So these are straight into the exact stitch you want. Here you've got a memory, and you've also got the mode, which allows you to get into all the other stitches that are available within the machine. So I'll do a follow-up video showing you just exactly how many stitches, well there's 200, but just what they are, so what this machine will do. So the first thing out of the packet feet-wise, a walking foot. When you're quilting or using thick fabrics, leather, faux leather, anything with a nap or a pile, such as fleeces, velvets, chiffon even, because it's very fine, a walking foot ideal. We have the guide, which fits into the side of the walking foot to allow you to do parallel stitch lines at whatever distance you would like. Of course, we have your seam ripper, which is, you make friends with your seam ripper. We have our little brush for when we clean out the fluff from the machine, top of the needle. We have spare bobbins. Let's just have a look here. And what I'd say about bobbins, buy the bobbins that come with the machine when you're going to buy extras. Don't just assume that a clear bobbin will fit your machine. Always go for a Janome bobbin which is suitable for the machine you have. I don't know what that little bit is. So one thing for the manual, we'll have a look at that. Another end cap for your thread, a large one for your larger cones, and a small one as well for your smaller reels of thread. We then have a stitch in the ditch foot. We have the overcast foot as well. We have our satin stitch foot. Now the satin stitch, I would use this for any of your embroidery stitches on there. It has got an extra layer, you see those metal pieces there, which just raises the feet above the stitching, because most embroidery stitches are slightly raised as opposed to a straight stitch being flat. We've then got your free motion foot. So one thing I didn't say is obviously we can lower the feed dogs. These are these teeth under here, which in normal straight stitching will pull the fabric through. When we drop the feed dogs, it means that we are in total control of the fabric and we need to move it. So this is the foot, which has a spring here, and it bounces up and down to give you that great stitch with your free motion. And then an open toe applique foot as well. And 3 spare needles. So I am really looking forward. I've got a workshop this morning which I'm going to take this with me, and I'm going to stitch my heart away, show some ladies how to make a wonderful folded star. But I'll be back later showing you exactly how this machine works and how easy it is to use. Bye bye for now.